The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi everyone. Today on Aging Horizons we're going to be talking about distracted driving. Something that's so prevalent these days with all the gadgets that we have in our hands, the cell phones and the tablets, and we're talking and we're drinking coffee and we're doing all kinds of things that aren't driving. And we want to talk to you today and give you some ideas of how to really get your distraction driving out of there. So come back.
No one likes to have to ask for help. It's a courageous act.
Sarah Solomon, Energy Share Coordinator.
Our clients work hard, sometimes at 2 or even 3 jobs, but still struggle to keep the heat on. They're doing everything they can. They're proud and they don't give up. I feel inspired and honored to work together with these Montana families.
To donate, call 888-779-7589 or go to EnergyShareMT.com. Energy Share, you can help your neighbor stay warm.
I have so many questions about power of attorney.
Well, some powers of attorney are for finances and others are for healthcare decisions.
A power of attorney designates an agent who would make decisions on your behalf.
While making a power of attorney, you have the ability to control your agent's power.
You also have the ability to decide when that POA would take effect.
Wait, am I giving away all my rights?
Power of attorney isn't a license to make any decision for you, just those that you've specified.
Your agent should be somebody that's working in your best interest, but it should also be somebody that you would trust.
What if they try to abuse their power?
Protective measures like third-party accounting, secondary signatures, defined spending and gifting limits can help protect against financial exploitation. An agent's powers can always be limited by a customized power of attorney, and they can be revoked by you or the court if the power of attorney is abused.
So carefully drafted estate planning documents can help ensure that your finances are monitored, but not abused.
If you or someone you know is being exploited, please report to Aging Services Bureau at 844-277-9300 or the Legal Service Developer at 1-800-332-2272. This message sponsored by the DPHHS Aging Service Bureau.
Respite care is amazing. If you are capable of doing it, the rewards are beyond measure.
Stephanie Young, respite care provider, on the unexpected benefits of helping people in need.
Being a respite care provider is an amazing experience. It's something that what you give, you get back 100-fold. You receive so much more than you could ever imagine.
To find out how to change lives, including your own, go to respite.mt.gov.
Hi everyone and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Kimmy Everman, and today we're going to be talking about distracted driving. And don't tell me you haven't done it, because I know you have. I have. And we really need to pay attention to that, especially as we're going into the winter driving season. Distraction is only going to get us hurt or possibly killed. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention, we're behind the wheel. And we have with us today Mike Anderson. Mike, you are a loss prevention specialist. You work for the Department of Administration here in Montana.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we love to have you because, you know, as I told you off camera, you bring the reality to the table. And I really think that's important. So let's start out just by talking a little bit about what do we consider distracted driving?
Well, distracted driving is anything really that takes your mind or there's 3 types of distractions. There's manual, visual, and cognitive. Anything that takes your hands away from the steering wheel, anything that takes your eyes away from the road, and anything that takes your brain out of the act of driving. Now, people think that we can multitask. That's a myth. We are not wired like a computer. We cannot do 2 tasks equally well at the same time. If we focus on one thing, we have to take focus away from something else to focus on this, and then back.
Right.
And so we cannot do 2 things at once.
Right.
So you can't drive and be on the phone. You can't drive and be watching a video,
right.
for instance.
Right.
You know, I mean, we have seen, since I've been doing this for about 8 years now, I've become somewhat of a people watcher.
You can't help it.
Can't help it, especially when I'm driving, because I want to see what other drivers are doing. And it's kind of scary. because I've seen people doing all kinds of different things, changing clothes, reading books.
Reading the newspaper, eating cereal. Eating, and now we've got these self-driving cars. And so people are having lunch with both hands and the car's driving itself. And it's just scary. But the main thing I want to talk about with distraction is it's a choice. Yeah.
You can choose to drive distracted, or you can choose not to drive distracted. Right. And I got to tell you, there are so many people out there today that are distracted, and you guys have all seen them. You can't drive from home to work, for instance, without seeing other drivers on the phone.
Right.
Or,
and let's talk about the phone for a minute, just because, again, that's one of those big giant elephants in the room, because everybody has one anymore, and they think, it's just a quick call or it's just a quick text. But that's not true, is it?
It isn't. And I got to tell you, 49% of commuters admit to texting while they drive. That's the ones that admit to it. So, of those 49%, 43% say it's a habit. I don't think that texting is the habit. I think the habit is social media. And people have a need. People have always had a need to belong, right? We used to be in service clubs.
Exactly.
Now everything's virtual. And so they're part of 5 or 6 groups, but they have to stay in touch all the time. And it's a real life, real time thing now. And so I don't know how many times I've seen people pull out of their driveway, and by the time they get to the end of the block, they're already checking their phone to see if they've missed something.
Yeah.
And so it's becoming a way of life, but the problem is the number of crashes is going through the roof.
Is it?
The number of deaths here in Montana and nationwide are going through the roof. And so that's why we started these classes about 5 years ago, was to try and bring to the foreground that this is really a problem. And we need to talk about it. We need to think about it. When you get in the car, put your phone down, because it truly is a choice.
Yeah. And I really, as I told you off camera, I love that you say that way, that it's a choice, because it really truly is. I think about getting into the car myself, and all the times I'm thinking about what's at work or what's at the doctor's or whatever, and not thinking about being safe for myself and others.
Right.
On the road. And I think that all of us, like you said, we have these gadgets now that we're kind of addicted to them, and maybe not even kind of, we are. We need that kind of inclusion, as you said, and
that stimulus.
Yeah, that stimulus, but it just isn't okay for the car.
Right.
And you want to not be, one of the things in some of your literature said, stay alert, stay alive, right?
Yep.
So staying alert means don't take your phone out, keep your eyes on the road, eat your cereal at home, and then you're going to stay alive. And it's not just you that stays alive. It's
other people.
It's other people.
Yeah, and you have to think about that as you're going down the road. You being distracted may not only affect you, it may affect many, many other people. And what can happen in just an instant can change the rest of your life. Right.
And I think most of us would say it would be terrible to live with something that we knew we caused. That's not the only reason, of course, not to do it. But if you don't want to be in that position, make the choice, as you talked about, to not be distracted.
Right.
I think it's an awesome. That should be your tagline, your hashtag, your whatever. Folks, okay, so we're going to talk some more about distracted driving and ways that you can kind of get around that so that you're not so distracted. But remember, it's a choice. It's a choice to get in your car and not pay attention to what you're doing, what's on the road. You're not, you're out with your phone, etc. You're making a choice to put yourself in danger and possibly others. We have so much more to talk about, and we want you to get the full scoop, so stay with us.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
When I found out it was diabetes, my first thought was, Barb, you need help. You have to take control of this. There is help. My doctor gave me a phone number. I called and signed up with a diabetes educator. There is help. I have to put blinders on when I walk past the bakery counter. I can feel my blood sugar go up. You succeed a little at a time. If you have diabetes, help is available. You do not have to do it alone.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're here with Mike Anderson today talking about distracted driving. And we were just talking, Mike, about cell phones. And of course we're going to talk about cell phones because it's been a big, big issue for people distracted driving. And you were saying something that was pretty amazing about that.
Well, the thing is with cell phones, everybody's got one, right? And everybody uses them, and people like to be part of groups. And so they've done a lot of studies for the past 5 years, universities, other agencies, trying to figure out how to curb the use of cell phones and other distractions, because it's becoming such a huge problem nationwide. One of the things that they studied was if you're going down the road and you get that notification sound, and it just, you just got to reach for your phone, right? Because who just texted me? And so the thing is, if you grab that phone and look at it, the average time is 4.6 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot. It's less than 5 seconds. But what you have to understand is that you're traveling, if you're going 70 miles an hour, that's 103 feet per second. So you're going to travel almost 500 feet just looking down at your phone.
And that's many car lengths, etc., that you will have no opportunity to steer out of if you're looking at.
That's 1 2/3 football fields, to put it into perspective.
Wow.
What can happen
in 4 seconds?
In
not even
in
5
that amount
seconds.
of time. Can a deer step up on the road?
Sure.
Absolutely. Can that car coming at you start coming across the center line? Absolutely. Right? Think of what you're missing. But the problem is we get complacent, because 99 out of 100 times you look at your phone, you look back up, everything's fine.
Right.
But the thing is, you're going to run out of luck. Yeah. I had a gal tell me one time, I was teaching a class, she said, Mike, I'm a good texter and driver.
Oh, those two words in the same sentence. Texter and driver.
And I didn't want to be rude.
No, right.
But I said, I think up till this point, you've just been lucky. Yeah. Because you can't be a good driver and texter. The two don't mix.
Right.
And so, but she was young, and she honestly believed that. Yeah. And I tried during that class to change her mind on that.
And so, speaking of phones in the car, so many of the newer cars have a speakerphone in there. What about that? Is that just as distracting?
It is. They've done a lot of studies on that, handheld versus hands-free. And they've actually found out that hands-free is more distracting than handheld.
Why?
I know, it doesn't make any sense, but here's the deal. If you have the phone to your head, you realize that you're distracted. And so you make certain compensations for that.
Sure.
If you're just talking like you and I are now, I don't realize that I'm distracted. But my mind is actually in this conversation, not driving down the road.
Right.
And so it's actually worse.
Yeah, and when you mention it, I sort of feel like when I get a call in my car, I definitely want to go get that right away, but I think it's safer somehow. But really it's not, because I think it's safer, and I'm maybe even being less safe because I have that misconception.
Right. Well, remember the 3 distractions. You got manual, visual, and cognitive. Your hands are on the wheel, your eyes are on the road, but where's your brain?
Yeah.
Your brain's in that conversation.
Yeah.
And we can't do 2 things well at the same time.
Yeah, and as much as, and so many of us in business have been taught for years that we can multitask, that we can do many, many things at a time. And, I don't know that that's true or not, but you're saying it definitely doesn't work with distracted driving.
Right.
And we don't want to be doing multitasking things when we're driving. Another couple of things I just want to mention about distracted driving too, besides the cell phone, is the eating. I mean, I think about the times I've eaten a taco driving and dropped it and thinking I got to go get that taco. I mean, it brings this feeling of, like you said, complacency.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I will tell you, before COVID, I used to put on 20,000 miles a year, traveling all over the state to put on these classes. Now we're doing them virtually. But I will tell you, when I did all those miles on the road, I had to, when it came to eating, Montana's a huge state. I mean, there are times that I would travel all day long just to get to a venue to teach the next day. So I'm not going to tell people I didn't eat in the car.
Right.
But I will say this. I did not ever have a meal. I would only have a snack, and I would do that even very carefully. And what I mean by that is when I get a snack, while I'm still in the parking lot, I would open it. I would open a sports drink, whatever it was, and put it next to me where I knew where it was. Now, is that still distracting? Sure. But the distraction is limited,
Right.
And you will never see me eating a taco or a hamburger or something going down the road. Because, you see people, they got these great big hamburgers, half of that's going to end up in their lap.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And so you just have to think about it.
Right.
And if you think about it, if you do buy a hamburger and French fries, it only takes you 5 to 7 minutes to eat it in a parking lot. So you're not losing a lot of time.
You're really not. I think what we need to get past with all of our driving discussion is going faster doesn't necessarily get you there safer or any quicker. And oftentimes it's like you're the fluke of the universe and you get there later. So it really pays to be alert to stay alive, right?
Yep.
And folks, we talked a lot about the phones. We want you to be very careful about your phone use in the car. And all these other things that we want to tell you about are great little nuggets of information. We want you to have it all, so don't go anywhere. We've got lots more to talk about.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
I've been shooting since I was young. It's something I've always enjoyed. I wasn't feeling like myself, but my friend noticed. He asked if he could hold onto my guns temporarily. At first, I was a little shocked, but then I agreed. I think he saved my life that day.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Here in Montana, we love our outdoor activities. Unfortunately, few of them are risk-free. Indeed, Montana is second in the nation per capita in head injuries that can destroy the lives of people we love. That's why you should insist your family always wear protective helmets. But you can do even more. When you fill out your vehicle registration this year, circle the Y and donate $1 to support traumatic brain injury prevention and education. Now that's using the old noggin.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're talking about distracted driving today with Mike Anderson from the Department of Administration. Mike, it's always so great to have you here. You have a great message, but you always make it fun, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's talk about a couple of very specific distracted drivings are being drowsy or zoning out. And they're two very different things.
They are two very different things.
Yeah.
And most people don't associate them with distracted driving. But truly they are, because your mind is somewhere else, right? The drowsy driving, if you're going to plan a trip, you should consider whether your sleep habits. I mean, if you're going to drive from Helena to Billings tomorrow, you should get some sleep. Right? And if something happens and you spend half the night in the ER because a friend or a family member got hurt or something, then maybe you don't drive to Billings tomorrow, or you have a coworker or a friend drive, right? You don't want to get behind the wheel if you're drowsy. Now, I've been teaching this like 5 years, I've heard a lot of people tell me that, oh, you just roll down the window, or you turn on the air conditioner, or you bump the music way up, you know. One gal told me, she said, Mike, the way to do it, to stay awake, she says you take a $100 bill, you roll down the window a little bit, and you hold it out the window.
Okay, well, maybe.
That'll keep you awake, she said.
But I would lose the $100 bill and be,
right.
It didn't keep me awake.
So the best thing is, instead of all those tricks like caffeine, things like that, coffee, sports drinks, is just get the proper amount of sleep before you go.
Right.
Plan ahead just a little bit. Another thing that gets a lot of people is zoning out. Zoning out is completely different. You can be absolutely wide awake and well rested and still zone out.
Right.
Because you might have so many things on your mind that driving goes to the bottom of that list. And
that doesn't make a bad person. You're just a person living and making choices about your life.
Absolutely. Life is complicated, and we all have different paths, but there's always roadblocks in those paths. And so on that day that you got 3 projects at work, 2 of them need to be done by Friday, your daughter's getting married next week, driving goes to the bottom of that list. And honestly, how many times have you showed up at home in your driveway and go, wow, how did I get here? Right? Or you're going down the highway, for instance, and you forget the last 10 miles. Well, and again, we get complacent and we get away with that stuff over and over and over again. And then pretty soon you start to think, no big deal.
Well, and as you've said a couple of times, it's really the odds. They're going to catch up with you at some point in time. And all this complacency that we think is safety is actually complacency.
It is.
And so we want to make sure that people are thinking about the drowsy, like you said, get plenty of rest. And also, one thing that I like to do is I travel with someone else and we switch you off.
There you go.
And spell each other so that one person doesn't have to do all the driving, if I'm going on a big trip, right? Because I know my limitations. I'm a terrible nighttime driver. I get tired, I zone out, and so you have another person there helping you.
Yeah, and you should know your own self.
I do, yep.
I try and avoid driving at night because I'm getting older, and so my vision at night isn't as good as it used to be. And so, another thing is I plan my trips. If I'm going to go to Billings, I don't like driving more than about an hour and 15 minutes. So I'll stop in Three Forks. I'll get out, walk around, stretch, get a drink of water or something, get back in the car and probably go to Big Timber.
I go to Three Forks and go get a coffee and a donut, but okay. But either way works.
Right.
What you're saying is, because one of the things that I used to always do, and I've really learned the error of my ways, is to drive straight through. Well, no.
Yeah.
We got to rest, we got to walk around, we got to take care of our body and our head.
Right. Well, it's not just your head. That's physical, too. It's not good for your body to sit in that car for hours on end.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Anything else that you really think is important about the distracted driving sort of environment? Because we all do it. I love what you're talking about, making a choice, and I hope and encourage our folks in the audience to think of it that way. I know I will.
Yeah. And the thing is, it is a choice. You can choose to drive distracted, or you can choose not to drive distracted. But what people need to know is that in a split second, you can change your life or somebody else's life forever.
And not have any intention of hurting anyone.
Absolutely.
Have never got any intention of hurting anyone, and you end up hurting yourself and maybe someone else.
Yep.
And it's just not worth it to check that little text or whatever is distracting you. And I do, this is sort of back to the cell phones, but there are cell phones that have little messages that you can send saying, I'm driving now. I can't answer.
Absolutely. In fact, the new cell phones come with software already loaded on it. All you got to do is turn it on. It's called drive time or drive mode. And what it does, it uses GPS. And when you start to go over 15 miles an hour, it shuts the ringer off automatically. And so you don't get that notification. I
need that guidance.
You don't get that urge to look at your phone.
Yes.
When you come down below 15 miles an hour, it turns everything back on.
Mike, you always bring such great information. Thanks so much. That's another one of those things I had no idea existed. So that's awesome. Thanks, and I hope you'll come back again soon.
I will, certainly.
Great.
Thank you.
And folks, again, distracted driving, zoning out, eating, drowsy, being on your cell phone. My dad used to do the thing where he'd hit the kids in the back seat. That was distracted driving. But we don't want to do that. We want to make the choice to drive safely for ourselves, our families, our friends, and all those people out on the road that we don't know that want to be safe as well. We are here for you and hope that you got a great deal of education today. Have a great day.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.